Hello and welcome back to Culinary Haven. Everybody who cooks at home and loves curry has their own recipe. And today I would like to share with you my recipe for chicken curry, which I serve with homemade chapati flatbreads. Let's begin. To make Culinary Haven's chicken curry, we will need 1 tablespoon of either clarified butter or ghee, 8 chicken thighs, skin on, bone in, 250 grams of shallots, 5 cloves of garlic, depends on their size, 1 ginger root, 2 chillies, 5 tomatoes of sort of medium size, 2 aubergines, a bunch of coriander, and the dry ingredients: 2 teaspoons of coarse salt, 20 grams of palm sugar, or if you don't have that, light brown sugar will do, 2 teaspoons of curry powder, 2 teaspoons of garam masala, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of sweet paprika, 1 teaspoon of chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 teaspoon of ground coriander, and 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. And in the end, we'll need 2 tablespoons of ground almonds and 2 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, full cream Greek yogurt, not reduced fat. And for the chapatis, we'll need 600 grams of chapati flour. If you don't have chapati flour, you can make it yourself by combining half and half plain flour and wholemeal flour. 600 grams, 300 ml of warm water, 2 teaspoons of salt, and 5 tablespoons of vegetable oil, any vegetable oil. And we'll start with preparing aubergines. The way we prepare them makes Culinary Haven's chicken curry different and special from all others. We're going to flame roast them on the cooker, just on open fire, the burner. I'll show you how. You can do it either on a grill, if you have a garden and you have a grill, or on a gas cooker. If you don't have either of those things, you can just roast them in the oven until they're completely cooked. Roasting them on an open fire gives them this smoky flavor, that authentic smoky flavor to the chicken curry. So you just, on the largest burner that you have, this is a quite large aubergine, you just put it directly on top of it and cook it like this for about 10 minutes on this side. I've already shown you in our last year's Ibiza vlog how to cook aubergines, how char grill aubergines on the grill outside. So this is, if you want, you can look that up, and this is how you do it at home if you have a gas cooker. It will be all charred on the outside, and don't worry, don't think that you will burn them and there will be nothing left. They will be perfectly cooked, they will be completely cooked inside, nice and soft, and they will have this absolutely unique, incomparable, smoky flavor that you can't achieve by cooking them any other way. And now we're going to turn it onto another side. See, it's all nicely charred, and we're going to cook it on the other side again. It depends on the size of the aubergine. It could be anywhere between 8 to 10 minutes. And now we're going to check them, and if you just touch them and you see that they're soft inside, that means that this one is ready. Just gently lift it and remove it from the cooker. And on to the next one. And now we'll just put it on a plate. It's very hot, and you can see steam coming out from the inside. Take a piece of cling film, cover it with the cling film, and let it cool until it's comfortable to touch, not too hot, and then we'll peel it and prepare it to use later. And now we'll prepare the second aubergine and just add it to that plate, cover it, and just leave it for a while. Also forgot to mention when I listed the ingredients that we also add 2 sweet peppers. And now let's cook our curry. I'm going to cook in a Dutch oven, which is a very heavy cast iron deep a pot with a lid. If you don't have that, just any really heavy saucepan. So in the Dutch oven or any cast iron or heavy pan, preheat the clarified butter or ghee, but about a heaped tablespoon. Let it melt and be hot. Let's see. Yeah, the butter is hot. Using clarified butter or ghee is a better choice because it doesn't have any milk solids, any water. It's just pure fat, so it cooks and browns things much better. So we're going to put all the chicken thighs in one layer, sizzling already. No seasoning, just browning them. Trying to accommodate them all in one layer. They're really large, so this one will have to just squeeze in there. And cook them on each side for 5 minutes. And in 5 minutes, turn them over and cook for another 5 minutes. This one didn't brown, didn't have much room for it. Now, another 5 minutes. As the chicken is browning there, we'll prepare the shallots, the tomatoes, and ginger and garlic. It depends of how smooth you prefer or how chunky you prefer your sauce. I like a little bit of texture, so instead of, you can chop them or blend them in a food processor to a paste. Ginger and garlic or even shallots. I like to just finely chop them, but it's up to you. So first I finely chop the shallots. These are called banana shallots. I don't know why. They don't look like bananas to me, but there you go. That's it. Put them back into the bowl. Mince, as it's called, the garlic and the ginger. That's it, that's enough. And now the ginger. Just once again, if you wish, you can chop it in a mini chopper or a food processor to a finer texture, to paste even, but I like to just very finely chop it. That will do. I like this. I like this texture better than a paste. And now the chicken is ready. By ready, I mean it's browned enough, and now we're going to take it out of the pan and just put it in a bowl or something and continue preparing our curry. So now it's browned enough, and it's browned, more importantly, the bottom of the pan, which we also need for all the flavors. The skin stuck to the bottom of the pan, but that's a good thing. that will give all the flavors that we need. So I'll just put the chicken into a bowl or a plate, cover it with another plate or something, and just set it aside. And now we're adding the shallots. Give it a quick stir and let it cook for a minute. Now, you see now the bottom of the pan is completely brown. So even though the chicken wasn't particularly too brown, it's still what's going on. Now in the pot will give us all the flavors we need. And now we're adding the ginger and garlic. Stir it. And now we're going to add all the spices. Turn it down a little bit because all this time we were cooking on quite high. The curry powder, garam masala, ground cumin, ground coriander, paprika, smoked paprika, tumeric, and the chili flakes, the salt, and just let it cook and release all the oils for just a couple of minutes. In cooking it in this hot pan without adding any liquids just yet of any kind, intensify all the flavors of the spices. We'll just let it cook for a minute whilst we chop the tomatoes. The tomatoes, chop them any way you like, because when they cook, they will cook down. You will not recognize them in a few minutes time. Even if you just slice them and start cooking, they will reduce and cook down, and it will be just tomato paste in the end. That's it. And now we're going to add this to our pan. Go. Give it a stir. The bottom of the pan is very brown now, but it will all be deglazed with the juices from the tomatoes. Now we'll let them cook, actually put the lid on and cook for a couple of minutes whilst we're chopping the chilies and the peppers. And I will just finely chop the chilies and then chop the peppers. 2 chilies and 2 peppers for me. If you wish, you can put less or more. Also, optionally, you can, if you're using a food processor, you can actually chop the chilies along with a garlic and a ginger if you wish. I just prefer doing it this way. That's enough. And the peppers, just chop them. Now I'm going to just chop this palm sugar, so it's just to help it dissolve quicker. Brown sugar tastes different to palm sugar. You can of course substitute it, but palm sugar tastes like Scottish tablet, nice and creamy. Let's see, cooking really nicely. And now we're going to add the chilies, the peppers, and the palm sugar, and boiling water. Enough to cover the chicken. We'll just see in a minute. We'll just stir all this first, making it really thoroughly mixed, and the bottom of the pan deglazed. And now the chicken goes back in the pot along with all the juices. We don't need any more water, but we don't need any less water, so that's exactly how much it is. If you're not sure, just put the chicken first, then pour the water. So bring it to a simmer, put the lid back on, and cook for 40 minutes. So the chicken will be cooking now for 40 minutes. We have plenty of time to prepare our dough. To make homemade chapatis, there is no comparison to shop bought ones, and it's really easy. 600 grams of chapati flour, or if you don't have chapati flour, 300 grams of plain flour, 300 grams of wholemeal flour mixed together, 2 teaspoons of salt, just whisk it together, and 300 ml of very warm water, and 5 tablespoons of any vegetable oil. Pour it in and just with a spatula or spoon mix the dough. Mix it just until it starts coming together. Then just dump it on the worktop and finish kneading in there. It's very simple. This amount of dough will give us 12 chapati. And just keep kneading the dough until there is no dry flour. It's the oldest type of bread and the easiest to make, and it's just absolutely delicious with anything. You can use it as a wrap to put anything, vegetables, salads, anything you want inside them. I like baba ganoush, sliced tomato and feta cheese. It's just delicious. See? Don't add any more flour or any more water or anything. This is the exact amount for a perfect chapati, texture, flavor, everything. Just knead the dough until it's nice, smooth, no shaggy bits, just nice and smooth dough, and it only takes a couple of minutes. And then we will put it back in the bowl, cover it, make sure there is no air coming in so it's not drying, with a cling film or a tight lid, and let it rest for at least 30 minutes, but up to several hours, it doesn't matter. As long as it's well covered, it can sit all day. There you go. The dough is ready. Now we'll just put it into a bowl, back into the bowl, cover it. I'm very lucky to have this lid that actually airtight. Cover it and leave it for at least 30 minutes to rest and develop gluten, so that after that we can roll out our flatbreads. So the chicken is almost ready now, and we can prepare the aubergine. It's quite cool now, and what we do is just cut this off and just gently peel all the crusty bits, revealing the beautiful roasted aubergine inside. It's just, if you try it, you will understand what I'm saying here, what I mean by saying that it's just, there's no comparison to anything else. The flavor is just extraordinary. It's smoky, it's just absolutely delicious, and it enhances any dish. If you find doing this difficult, you can actually just cut it in half and scoop out the flesh, because it's very soft and it's very easy to do this way as well. It's completely cooked, so it doesn't need any further cooking, so we're adding it in the end of the cooking our curry to give the smoky flavor, to thicken the sauce itself, and more delicious. Now the last side, and transfer it into a bowl or a plate, and do the same with the second one. Right, the time is up. The chicken is ready. We're going to fish it all out, skin and all, wherever it's left. Sometimes it separates from the chicken, but we'll get it. It looks like a very thin sauce now, but it won't be. We're going to thicken it with very finely chopped flame roasted aubergine, which gives not only smoky flavor but also thick texture. Now we're going to take the skin off the chicken, take the bone out, and shred it. This one doesn't have any skin anymore, so we'll just, with 2 forks, best way to do it, just get the bone out, discard it, and shred the meat back into the plate. And the next, so you just peel the skin off, discard that, get the bone out. The chicken is cooked so perfectly, it's absolutely easy to remove, not just skin but the bone as well. It just comes off easily. And just shred the chicken legs. That's it, all chicken is shredded. And now we're going to chop the aubergines. It's very soft, it's completely cooked, so it's just very easy, just like so. To the bowl with all the juices that came from the aubergines once we peeled them. The second one, oops, it's just falling apart, but we're not going to cook it any longer, so it's just perfect. That's it, ready. And lastly, we're just going to chop the coriander, a bunch of fresh coriander, just chop it. Done. So now we're stirring in the 2 tablespoons of ground almonds, which will give thickness and texture to our sauce, and then the shredded chicken, plenty of it. It's a dinner for a family. And the flame roasted and chopped aubergine, stir it in, the chopped coriander, turn the heat up because herbs and everything else is cold by now, so we need to make it bubble again. See how nice and thick it is now. Just give it a minute till it's simmering again. Here we are, it's bubbling again, and now we're going to stir in the Greek yogurt. 2 tablespoons is enough. And as you can see, it's not splitting because it is full fat yogurt. We'll just stir it to make the sauce even thicker and creamier, and switch it off. There. Put the lid back on, and it's ready when you are. So the curry is ready, and all that's left to do is just to make our chapati flatbreads. The dough has rested nicely, sitting here nice and soft, absolutely perfect. Like I said, we'll make 12 of them. I'm going to make them on this flat griddle. If you don't have that, you can use any cast iron frying pan or skillet, any heavy bottom skillet that retains heat. It has to be very hot. So preheat that and roll out our flatbreads, and I'll show you how. It takes about a minute and a bit on each side, so it's very quick. So it's about a minute and 15 to 20 seconds on each side to cook the chapatis, dry bake them. We're not adding any oil or any fat, it's dry cooking. Roll it into a log and divide it into 12 pieces. Half, half, and in 3. Them all back in so they don't dry. Cover it. So we'll make it one at a time. So we take a piece of dough, flatten it into a disc to get us going, and with the rolling pin roll out, turning every time outwards, just the edge without touching the center of the chapati, and just keep going and going, and it will gradually spread out itself, and this bump in the middle will eventually disappear. Doing it this way ensures that our chapati is evenly thick or evenly thin, and also is perfectly, almost perfectly round. Just keep going. See, it's just getting wider and flatter. If you have a thinner rolling pin. It will help. Keep going and going and going outwards in all directions. Keep lifting it and don't add any flour. Doesn't need any flour, and it ruins the looks if you add the flour, because the dry flour will not cook. Even if the whole flatbread is brown, all the dry flour on top of it will remain white. So that's not the look we're going for. Onto the griddle. So the griddle is hot. Put it in the center, and just a minute and 20 seconds, something like that. You will see that it's ready to turn, because it will start puffing up. It's very thin. The griddle is very hot, so it doesn't take long at all. When it's, you keep going, sometimes it's just 1 minute on each side. There you go. Now you can see it's been 1 minute exactly, how it's all puffed up. It's actually all curvy now, and which means it's time to turn it over. There you go. And the same on this side. About 5 seconds to go. Little charred spots, it's just perfect. And it is ready. And I'm going to keep them nice and warm in this beautiful chapati holder. And on to the next. And here we are, Culinary Haven's chicken curry with homemade chapatis, and garnished with some pomegranates and fresh chopped coriander. Thank you for watching this episode of Culinary Haven, and until next time, bye!